failure to realize the seismic ramifications to normal Americans of this tectonic economic shift was a primary cause of the cashocracy's collapse. As rising corporate profits and Wall Street bull markets became increasingly divorced from working Americans' prosperity, the cashocrats clung ever more tightly to their corporate benefactors. Without grasping, Americans had concluded what is good for GM is no longer necessarily good for them. The advent of virtual corporations and transient international capital has ended the old industrial welfare state model of governance, wherein solutions to Americans' economic and social anxieties were once shared burdens of centralized corporations and government. The stark choice is now between increasing the centralized power of the federal government or decentralization of power into the hands of individuals, families, and communities. In their urgency to replace their lost or slashed corporate benefits, Americans will be sorely tempted to further centralize the federal government to do it. But expanding the authority and compulsory powers of the federal government will be injurious to the American people. Big government doesn't stop chaos. Big government is chaos. By usurping the rightful powers of individuals beneath its bureaucracy's steel wheels, highly centralized government alienates individuals and atomizes communities. Once more, Ropke speaks to the heart of the matter. I quote, "The temptation of centrism has been great at all times as regards both theory and political action. It is the temptation of mechanical perfection and of uniformity at the expense of freedom." Perhaps Montesquieu was right when he said that it is in the small minds above all which succumbs to this temptation. Once the mania of uniformity and centralization spreads, and once the centrists begin to lay down the law of the land, then we are in the presence of one of the most serious dangerous signals warning us of the impending loss of freedom, humanity, and the health of society. End quote. Only liberty unleashes Americans to establish the true roots of a holistic American order. The voluntary and virtuous individual, familial, and communal associations which invigorate and instruct a free people conquering challenges. In contrast, centralized and thus inherently unaccountable government suffocates liberty, order, and justice by smothering and severing citizens' voluntary bonds within mediating non-governmental institutions, and so doing stifles our free people's individual and collective solutions to challenges. In consequence, the temptation for more centralized government must be fought to prevent turning sovereign Americans from the masters of their destiny into the serfs of governmental dependency. Fully versed in this verity, Restoration Republicans have made their decision. Power to the people. Thus, in this age of globalization, Restoration Republicans vow to empower the sovereign American people to protect and promote their God-given and constitutionally recognized rights. Promote the decentralization of federal governmental powers to the American people or to their most appropriate and closest unit of government. Defend Americans' enduring moral order of faith, family, and community and country from all enemies. Foster a dynamic market economy of entrepreneurial opportunity for all Americans, and honor and nurture a humanity of scale in Americans' relations and endeavors. Further, while these Restoration Republicans will be releasing a more detailed program in the future, the above will form the basis of any concrete policy proposals brought forth. Madam Speaker, my constituents are honest, hardworking, and intelligent people who are bearing the brunt of the generational challenges facing our nation. They have lost manufacturing and every manner of jobs due to globalization, and especially the predatory trade practices of communist China. Throughout these economically anxious times, they spend sleepless nights wondering if they will be able to afford to keep their jobs, their houses, their health care, their hopes for their children. In the war for freedom, they have buried, mourned, and honored their loved ones lost in battle against our nation and all of civilization's barbaric enemies. And every day they struggle to make sense of an increasingly perverse culture, disdainful of and destructive to faith, truths, virtue, and beauty, if the existence of these permanent things is even admitted. True, my constituents differ on specific solutions to their pressing problems, but they do agree Washington isn't serving their concerns. They agree this storied representative institution is increasingly detached from the daily reality of their lives. And they remind me that when we enter this house, their house, we enter as guests who must honor the leap of faith they took in letting us in and allowing us to serve them. With my constituents, I utterly agree. While it is not my purpose here to discuss the majority party, let me be clear as to my own. House Republicans have no business practicing business as usual. My constituents, our country, and this Congress deserve better, and we will provide it. Our Republican minority has members who know America isn't an economy. America is a country. Our Republican minority has members who know the only thing worth measuring in money is greed. Our Republican minority has members with the heart to put individuals ahead of abstractions, people ahead of politics, and souls ahead of systems. Our Republican minority has members who have seen sorrow seep down a widow's cheek and joy shine from a child's eyes. Yes, Madam Speaker, my Republican minority has members who know our deeds on behalf of our sovereign constituents must accord with Wordsworth's poetic prayer. Quote, "And then a wish, my best and favorite aspiration mounts with yearning towards some higher song of philosophic truth which cherishes our daily lives." End quote. It is these Republicans whose service in this Congress will redeem our party by honoring the sacred trust of the majestic American people, who in their virtuous genius will transcend these transformational times and strengthen our exceptional nation's revolutionary experiment in human freedom. With these Republicans, I hereby throw in my lot and pledge my best efforts on behalf of my constituents and our country. May God continue to grace, guard, guide, and bless our community of destiny, the United States of America. Madam Speaker, I yield back the balance of my time.
The gentleman has yielded back. Under the Speaker's announced policy of January 8th,